Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Tyke here from Tyke and Tina's Adventures in Retirement. I wanted to do a follow-up of one of our early videos about being laid off at 63. And as crazy as it sounds, it's been 459 days since that occurred in our lives, and I found myself without a job. Um, so we wanted to give you a status update. We've done a number of other videos since then, but this one's specifically geared toward that video. I thought it'd be helpful both for us and especially for you guys out there that might have not been dealing with it at the time, but maybe you are now. There's a really surprising update to all this that we'll share with you toward the end, but I just wanted to touch base with the things we talked about in that first video. First of all, kind of a recap. Maybe you've experienced a job loss, laid off. You know, you see a lot of things in the news right now, especially with government jobs, where people are just being let go without a lot of notice. That could be impacting you, impacting friends, your community, what have you. But, you know, anytime you change a job, it's a major life event. And as a reminder, you got to mourn that. You got to give it a little time and go, okay, this is sad. You know, you left relationships, you left you know, a career field perhaps, maybe an entire industry that you need to go away from now because there's just no more opportunities for you in it. But like we said, don't take it personal. Don't sit there and think, oh my gosh, I'm a hated person. I'm flawed. You know, it's hard not to. I get it. But it's really just business. It really is. You know, life moves on, jobs move on, careers change, alter. You know, I mean, nobody's making barrels anymore. At least if they are, they're not making them like they were 200 years ago. So you got to look at and put it in perspective like that. You know, a job or a career for most of us is not who we are. It's what we do or what we did. I was in the auto industry, transportation in some relative form or another. And, you know, I'm not in it anymore. Do I still follow it? Absolutely. Do I like cars? Absolutely. That's the main driver in my automotive career. I loved automobiles and anything with a motor. But that was more about my hobby, not what I did in the auto industry. And who you are as a person is far more important than what you do for a living. And most of us, it's a separate thing. Okay? So keep that in mind. Keep understanding you have value as an individual, as a person, and what you do in taking that to a career is it can be transferred. You can change careers, change job fields, and still be who you are. And it's way more valuable. Who you are is way more valuable than what you do or did. We talked about being acted upon or acting. In other words, who's in control of your destiny? Now, I'd only been let go another time when I lost that role of 459 days ago. And I can tell you that did it bother me? Sure it did. Did it end me? Absolutely not. In fact, as we'll share a little later, there's some perspective that's come around just recently that is kind of like cathartic, even more so. But remember, to act or be acted upon, you got to know where you're at. So if you've just lost your job, if you've been fired, if you've been laid off, whatever's happened in your job change, you need to act fairly quickly if you haven't already. Hopefully it's not been a year late as the last time you saw the video and you haven't done anything yet. I hope that's not the case, but you know, if it is, start today, start now. List out your assets, not only your physical and financial assets, things of value, something you can monetize, but what about your assets? What do you do? What do you got going for you? What are you good at? What do you love doing? You know, passion. I got started in the car business because I was passionate about cars. And I was reflected in my interviews that I just really loved automobiles and motorcycles and things that went, you know. it got me a job, got me more than one job in that field as well, because I was called upon to advocate at one point in my career, in other words, be a cheerleader, so to speak, for a certain brand of vehicle. And my enthusiasm and knowledge about that vehicle got me a job and sustained me for a number of years in an area of my career field that I would have never imagined I could have had. And a lot of it had to do with just my attitude about what I was enthusiastic about. But that Ben Franklin list we talked about, what are your positive, what are your negatives, right? So what are you up against right now? I got to pay rent, I got a mortgage to pay, I need a job right now. Or medical, I need medical insurance, I need whatever the case may be. Now is not the time to be afraid to list those things. Just get them out on a piece of paper, start figuring out what you need, where you might need help, who you can talk to, unemployment, relatives, friends, whatever. Make sure you're supported. You're not in this thing alone. And if you don't have anybody, send us a message in the comments. Reach out, subscribe to us. We'll try to help you. We have a lot of videos we produced since then that I think you'd find helpful. And then attitude. I mentioned this in the first video. It doesn't change whether you've changed employment, ended your career, whatever you've done. A good attitude is leaps and bounds beyond any type of formal training you may have had. If you've got a bad attitude and you're really competent in what you do, you're not much of an asset to a new employer. I'm telling you right now. I hired good attitudes over experience left and right when I was a hiring manager, and they rarely didn't pay off for me. They were almost always great employees that really were an asset to our company. So the thing is, you got to keep moving forward. Don't let this change define you. Don't let it beat you up. I promise you that whoever you worked for has moved on and will move on, and you need to too. Like I said in the previous video, chances are you left a job to take the job you just lost, right? And that's what it's about. It's about your business. Your asset is you're going to trade your time, your valuable time that you can't get back, for their compensation. So don't shortchange who you are and what you're doing. So now a little bit about an update of what we're doing. So I didn't get another job. We spent a little bit of time considering that, and then we decided we were going to extreme downsize. So what did that mean? We sold everything. Sold our house, sold our car, sold our RV, almost sold all my socks. I mean, we just got severe and real down and dirty about it. It was actually really fun. We sold off just about everything. We didn't have a home anymore, so we didn't need a lawnmower, for example. We sold that. People will buy things shockingly. What some of the stuff we sold that they bought, it was just crazy to me. I started an eBay account, or reactivated an eBay account that I had for years. Sold off a bunch of collectibles. Sold stuff on Facebook Marketplace. Sold stuff on eBay. Sold stuff to neighbors and friends and people. And it took about a year. It was close to May before we were all done. Didn't really keep a lot. A few boxes of clothing and some personal mementos and things that we wanted, family records and things like that. But we are now, we hopped on an airplane at the end of May, and we've been traveling, slow traveling, in Asia, specifically right now, Vietnam, and right now we're in Bangkok, Thailand. And what we did is we looked at the exchange rate based on the amount of money I had coming in. I went ahead and filed for my Social Security, because obviously I'm a year older now. And we found a part of the world where we could live really well, very well, on the amount of money we had coming in. And one other update in that, Tina, she retired as well in May, right before we hit the road. So that's a pretty cool update. We're growing our investments, so having a lower cost of living helps us to grow our investments. Started this YouTube channel, Still have my eBay account in the back pocket, but we're not really doing much with it right now because we're out of the country. And you know, it kind of echoes to what my dad said about retirement. In the last video, my dad shared right before right as he retired that retiring for him was like being put out to pasture with no fence. So in other words, no limits. So if you're going through it still, please send some comments. If you need some help, need some direction, hopefully we can find somebody or somebody in the comments that has some ideas for you. If not, hopefully you've moved on and things are good. If you're trying to figure out how to stop working completely, maybe you haven't gone through any of this, but you want to figure out how to stop working completely and do what we're doing, really seeing the world and doing it on pennies, and I'm telling you, pennies on the dollar, without the stress of stuff and payments and upkeep and yard work and all that kind of stuff. Look at our other videos. We've got some ideas in there for you too. Please subscribe to the channel, like it, give us some comments. You know, if you think we're full of pooey, let us know. Everything's wide open here, but we just hope that in somewhere, somehow, this is helping someone. So last but not least, kind of a fun update. So the company that I worked for, that we parted ways, they recently closed the branch that I worked at. Don't really know what happened. Don't really care. Sad for some of the people if they lost their jobs. There were good people that worked there, hardworking, dedicated, but for some reason they closed. Don't want to speculate why, but the reason I offer that is perspective, and I hope that gives you some perspectives. Think that, you know, maybe you're not the only one leaving. Maybe they're closed. Maybe your position ended, or you and your coworkers' positions ended because the company's not doing well. The economy isn't supporting that industry anymore. Whatever the case may be, you have the power. You're the mobile one. You're one person, not a ginormous corporation. And you've got the flexibility and the things that people want. You're valuable. Keep that good attitude. Your experiences mean and matter to other employers. So hopefully this helps. 459 days later, woo! And here I am halfway across the world with my best friend in the world, the love of my life, Tina, and just having a ball. Hopefully this video finds you in a good place. And if you need any help, we sure try to help you any way we can. Like us, subscribe, leave a comment. Thanks again.